So wait, was that so long?
Okay, so I'm gonna do this with you because oftentimes you need another. I don't have a PowerPoint either. Okay.
I think she was
There's a PowerPoint. Okay, I'm gonna do this with you on this worksheet because usually I tell people to read it and they're like, I don't know what to do, and they get all the answers wrong. And if you just would have, read the little synopsis here, it would be fine. But I'm gonna read it with y'all. So just get out whatever color you would like to highlight with, or underline with, or whatever. I'll underline because I don't know. I keep on doing out my highlighters.
Oh,
So,
I didn't get one of those, miss.
huh?
I have an extra one.
I got one.
Okay. So we're looking at. Eventually, we're going to fill out these questions here. Who's helped and hurt by inflation? So inflation is defined as an increase in the overall level of prices. It is harmful to a wide range of individuals in our economy who are unable to estimate correctly the rate of inflation to make adjustments and allow for this inflation. One group of hurt during inflationary periods is creditors. These are people such as banks and other financial institutions. Inflation lowers the value of money, so creditors are paid back with money that has less buying power than the money they loaned out originally. We already talked about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we see, as one bank put it, we are loaning out dollars and we're getting back quarters. Exactly what I said earlier. Okay? So a second group that suffers from inflation includes people who live on fixed incomes or who have claims to fixed amounts of money. So people who are living on fixed incomes. A worker who makes regular contributions to a retirement account can find that inflation has undermined the value of funds and is making it inadequate for his retirement. A third group of inflation victims includes people whose incomes grow at a slower rate than prices do, so like teachers, okay? Y'all as minimum wage workers. If you have a savings account, right, these are people with savings account paying 4% interest, and you have a net gain of buying power, only the rate of inflation is less than 4%. Another case would be if you receive a pay increase, so people who pay increase, right, of 5%, but prices rise 8%. You would be losing your purchasing power. So workers and savers, okay? So do y'all get our groups here? So let's talk about who's helped during inflation. Just as lenders tend to be hurt by inflation, borrowers can be helped. So here's our next group. They're helped. This is because money used to pay back a loan is worth less than the money originally borrowed. Another group that realized benefits during inflation include people who receive a cost of living adjustment, a COLA, to their income when prices increase. If COLA exceeds the price hike for an item the person buys, his real or after inflation earnings will increase. If people can anticipate the rate of inflation, so these are the people who are anticipating that they just know that prices are going to go up, they can minimize their losses and maybe realize net gain. If you think that the price of a television is going to rise by 10% this year, you could borrow the money and buy it now at a lower interest rate of 8%, and you realize a net gain of buying it now. Likewise, if you want a 4% real return on your money and you think inflation will rise by 6%, then you should charge 10% interest, avoiding a loss in purchasing power. A worker employed in a growing industry is more likely to receive a pay raise, right? So I've highlighted our group, so then when you go to this, you should be like, a young couple buys a house on a fixed rate. So then they're helped. Because when inflation goes up, they're paying the same amount. And this is what happened in the housing crisis in 2005. A lot of people got adjustable arms, so as inflation went up, their interest rate on their house went up. Okay? My neighbor just called me. She had $1,000 electric bill. And I was like, did you have an, huh?
I said, Trump like Susan.
I know. She had $1,000, and I was like, did you have an adjustable arm electric bill? She was like, I didn't even know what an adjustable arm is. Like, I just thought it was like off of Barbie or something. And I was like, no, an adjustable arm means that, like, as the economy, as prices are low, so remember, like, when we talked about the economy, it goes like this. when prices are low, your interest rate is low. But when prices go high, your interest rate is high. Over the summer, is there a greater demand for electricity?
Yes.
So then, because of that demand, prices go up because that's called cost push inflation. And her electric bill, she was using the same kilowatts as she was using in the earlier spring. But because cost push went up, what happened to the price of her electric bill? It went up as well. So you have to think about this anytime you sign an electric bill, anytime you buy a home, anytime you buy a car. They will try to give you an adjustable arm that says when rates are low, your interest rate is low. When rates are high, that interest rate will be high. Do y'all want that?
No, you want a
You want a
rate.
fixed one that you determine every single month is gonna be the same amount, okay? Most of your parents will have a fixed rate home mortgage. In 2005, a lot of people had adjustable arms and they were like, oh, it's great. My payment was $1,000. But when that rate of interest rate went up, it was up to $2,000. Could people afford those houses? So all of a sudden, people cannot
Tons of
afford the
people are starting
houses.
to get
They
foreclosed.
started foreclosures and that's what led to the housing decline. Right? Did y'all get this?
Weren't smart enough.
Okay, so now try to go like this person. They assign a 3-year rate for a rental lease, fixed. Y'all will eventually be getting apartments. And you need to make sure it's fixed because you're gonna be what? Helped. Okay? So go through this and see how you do.
On 7, they're selling off are they loaning off?
The government sells bonds.
So
So
they
that
would
when
be-
they sell bonds, they're
Mhm.
giving it out and they're taking in money. Okay? And so now they're gonna become, they're the creditor, right?
Yeah. Cause they're saying that this bond is worth this much money.
And they're promising to pay back later,
Gotcha.
okay?